it's time for the MD and Chef Team Show.
Let's go!
The content in this show is for informational purposes only. It is not intended for medical advice. It does not take the place of medical advice or treatment from a physician or health professional. Listeners and viewers should consult their own doctor or a qualified healthcare professional for specific health and wellness concerns and questions. And now, let's start the MD and Chef Team Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MD and Chef Team Show. I'm culinary nutrition expert, Chef Michael here, joined as always by my beautiful wife, my hottie bride.
Oh, I love it when you call me your hottie bride.
Your Dr. Isabel from Doctoronamission.
Hello and welcome. So glad you're here with us today. It's going to be amazing. We've got so much to offer you. We're going to give it to you on a platter, and then you decide what you're going to take and implement in your life. Isn't that cool?
Hey, thanks, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Well, today we're at a very special time. We're 24 hours later than normal.
That's right.
Because, well, Isabel and I had the wonderful opportunity to go visit our oldest daughter, Nikki, and her partner, Dree, over in Melbourne, Australia for a week, and we just got back. And yeah, we needed that extra day to kind of get ourselves together before jumping on live.
It was good to touch them and feel.
Hey, Rubio.
Hi,
yes,
Rubio.
It's showtime, brother.
I got your yellow on today. Boom!
Rubio yellow. Yeah, so 24 hours later, hey, thanks for joining us today. Special time, special day. But you know what? You adapt and you move on. And we had a fantastic time. Family is so important. It was great to be with our daughter and her partner.
But the flies are terrible in Australia.
We kind of stepped into fly season when we're over there. Yeah, if you know anything about Australia, they do tend to have flies over there. And we just happened to step into it at the very end, but that's okay. We had an amazing, great time.
But you really got into the flies with Dree, didn't you?
Yeah, we scheduled a round of golf, and if we'd have known how bad the flies were going to be, we wouldn't have played because we got swarmed, and it was pretty hard to play, but oh well, we had a lot of fun.
But why did you get swarmed?
Why?
Because there's a lot of kangas and a lot of roos jumping through the golf course, and they leave behind a big mess.
Yeah, where we were, there was a lot of kangaroos in that area, and yeah, a lot of kangaroo poo on the golf course, so there was a little bit more flies, and it just happened to be the season. During the winter, it's okay, but yeah, we literally stepped into it.
And I said, hey, babe, did you get one of those hats with the corks? Because that's what they use in Australia sometimes, is the ones with the corks, you know, because when you move your head, the flies go away. But he's like, no, babe, not on the golf course. That's not etiquette. That's not golf etiquette.
Yeah, it's a great time.
Yeah, you had a good time.
We saw a lot of great wildlife. Had a wonderful time. And no, this is not a nature show. But we had a great time, and family is so important. So I just wanted to share that with you. You know, one of the things that we know for having a long, happy, vibrant life is relationships and family, whether it's friends, family, you know, if it's not a strong family relationship, and strong friends relationships, partners, whatever it may be, but relationships are so important. So that was an amazing, amazing time.
And I think everybody's love tank got filled up.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so did our bellies.
Yeah.
I ate so much ice cream. I cannot believe how much ice cream I ate.
A little bit off the grid on our normal healthy lifestyle eating, but just for a few days. We're back on track, and away we go.
We're back on track.
Boom, pounding on the table. There we go. Didn't take long to start pounding on the table.
Yeah, I got off the plane. I go, babe, my legs feel like tree stumps. You know how when you're flying and your legs just go boom, 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 boom? Yeah, that happened to me.
That happens.
Yeah. But I'm starting to get back to
Yeah.
untree stump
A lot
feeling.
of walking, great workouts today,
Yeah.
so we're on and eating
Lots of
healthy.
anti-inflammatory,
Anti-inflammatory
curcumin,
foods, yeah.
ginger, omega-3s, garlic.
All the good stuff.
Yeah,
And drinking a lot of water.
a lot of water.
So today...
So what, are we going to do this?
Yeah, we're going to do
What
it.
are we
We're
going to
get
talk
into it.
about?
Well, first I want to say, you might be wondering, okay, this isn't a nature show, then what is the MD and Chef Team show? And really, Isabel, being being a frontline doctor for the last 35 years, and after probably 20 years of that, understanding that, why are my people not getting better? Why do I see them keep coming back? And just understanding that the traditional healthcare system is set up for acute disease. Basically, if you've got a cut or you need stitches or you break your arm, it's fantastic for long-term health care. That's not what it's about. I mean, it'll put a Band-Aid on you. It'll give you some drugs to give you some temporary relief, but it's not going to find out, well, what happened. And that's basically people are walking in with the downstream effects, meaning things have happened now. And that system, traditional system, well, yeah, they'll put a patch on it, but what we really want to do, and maybe this is your frustration, because if your frustration is, okay, I got the same thing happening all the time, or I keep bouncing around trying to get help, what we're all about is what's called the upstream effect. And Isabel retraining as a functional medicine doctor, where you get to the upstream, myself as a nutritional chef, really what that means is, we want to find out what's the cause, not necessarily what is the disease, but what is the cause of the disease? What's the cause of the health issues you've got going on? How did you get there? Mm-hmm. Because then we can address that so we can get rid of it.
And reverse it.
We can reverse it, and also prevention. If you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyonds, and you say, well, I don't want to get down there. I've seen a lot of these health issues and problems that people have. I don't want to get there. Then our show is also for you, because it's about prevention and how not to get there. So that's really what we're all about, is the upstream, how not to get there, and downstream, how to prevent, but also if you're having health issues, how to reverse those issues and to have long-term, great, optimal health.
Because it's not normal to get sick and unhealthy the older you get. That's a lie. You don't have to believe that lie anymore.
Right.
But we'll talk more about that today.
So that kind of brings us into, what is today's show? So today's show is, I know
it doesn't matter.
But that's because it really leads into, today's show is your brain on fire. And the reason why we're going to talk about this is, and there's a lot happening here, is the fact that understanding this word fire is related to inflammation. Now, please note, hey, just like some of the other folks already, Jim and Ruby have come in with comments. If you have comments, questions, suggestions, you want to know more about something, or just post it in there. We'll get to it when we can. Also, it's a great way to interact. And if you happen to catch this on the replay, give us a hashtag replay, please, in the comment section. That just lets the social media algorithm bots know, hey, this is interesting. People need to know about this. Because we want to get this word out to more and more people. Because as we know around the world, any research shows that things are not going well in the healthcare area, and people are getting more and more sicker, and all the statistics are going the wrong way. And we want to get this out to more people so we can start having a better cause and effect for people to prevent and reverse health issues and chronic illness.
I just want to interject. In 2011, when I read my first book about how to reverse type 2 diabetes, that was like the first time ever that I was even thinking about, wow, you can actually reverse type 2 diabetes, because that's not what I was taught in medical school. But in functional medicine, which is pretty much integrative medicine, I was taught you can reverse type 2 diabetes. I always taught you had it for the rest of your life, and you either get your pills and your insulin, and that's just the way you go. And then you go get blindness, you lose a leg, you might have a heart attack, a stroke. That's just the course of the disease. And people were experiencing so much unnecessary pain because of that. And so that's when I got so excited about this. I was like, we got to tell the world, give them hope, because you know what? Having a hope is so important for your journey. And that's why we're here, is to give you hope on your journey so that we can walk alongside you, because we love walking, and we love walking alongside people that want to take good care of themselves.
Well said, my dear.
Thank you.
So today's show, Is Your Brain on Fire? Now, talking about this, let's talk about this, why we're saying the word fire. I think we've all heard of inflammation. Mm-hmm. Inflammation is this big topic that's thrown around out there. We hear it all the time. But we like to break it down to simple. It's the non-medical term is fire. Mm-hmm. Something's going on in your system. There's a fire. Now, a lot of times when we talk about inflammation, we think about, inflammation of the body.
Yeah.
But when we say that, we normally think kind of from the neck down. Oh, I got inflammation in my elbow or my knee or some other part. But we don't normally think about it up here from the neck up, the brain. But understand this word inflammation, fire, is from the head to our toes. So it's mental health, it's brain health, it's physical health. Head to toes, we can have inflammation. We can have a fire going on in any of those areas from head to toe.
Mental unwellness is inflammation of the brain.
Yes.
Anxiety, depression, Alzheimer's, inflammation of the brain.
Exactly.
Yeah, but, we got to teach the psychiatrist that there's a neck, and that the neck is connects the brain to the body.
Exactly. Yes.
Just saying.
And also with this word inflammation, what's interesting is any type of chronic inflammation or fire going on in the body, whether it's brain health, mental health, physical health, anywhere in the body, what we find is there's a common contributor of all illnesses, any type of illness that we may have, and that common contributor is inflammation.
Yep, it's the root cause of all this chronic disease that we're seeing. 95%, I would say. Yeah. I think that's what the research is showing. 90 to 95% of all the chronic diseases that we're seeing is the baseline, the root cause is inflammation. Yeah. So,
and understanding that's brain health, that's mental health, that's mental illness, that's physical things going on. Gut health, digestive health. All the
heart health, kidney health, liver health, boo-doo-doo health, all kind, your body.
Yeah. And so that's that main contributor is inflammation. And that inflammation, as we said, think of the nice easy word, non-medical, is fire. Somewhere in the body, when we have something going on, there's a fire happening. And so today we want to talk about that, having a fire going on in the body. Now, as Isabel said, somewhere around 90%, 95%, some research shows 85%, but we do know somewhere at a minimum of 85%, think about this, minimum of 85% of people in the world right now are walking around with some sort of inflammation going on in their body. And when I say body, I don't mean from the neck down, I'm talking head to toe. 85% of people out there. So, if you're in a room with 10 people, most likely, if it's not you, then all the other ones are. Here's a great comment from Rubio. Speaking of inflammation, what are your thoughts on orthopedic socks on flights when we flew? I know they are not the most attractive, but I'm telling you, they work on flights for me. Slightly off topic. Well, that is on topic, actually, because we just flew.
And I used those going to Australia and didn't have stump legs, but I didn't put them on coming this way because I had a little brain fog. Yeah. Because of all the ice cream. So, yes, you're right. I'm all for flight socks.
Yeah, they are fantastic. They're very good to use.
And I realized it mid-flight, but you just don't want to be fighting putting them on in the mid-flight.
And you're right. At the end of the day, they're not that attractive. But I mean, our flights over there were basically 4 hours. I mean, if you're talking some long flights, oh my gosh, you definitely want to be using those. I mean, you can do your best to be moving around, but it's difficult to be constantly moving on a long flight because it's still pretty cramped spaces. So yes, great point.
So definitely on topic.
Yes, definitely on topic.
And it's okay if we ping here. That's what we do here sometimes.
So we're talking about a minimum of 85% of people in the world right now, currently today, are walking around with some sort of inflammation going on in their body. Now, the thing is, fire. The thing is, a lot of times we don't really think about it that way because maybe there's just, I don't know, my elbow's a little this, or I don't know, I've got a little bit of a headache at times, or, this hurts a little bit, or, my shoulder's sore, or just something going on. And we kind of think, just a little something.
Or you feel swollen. Swollen is inflammation.
Swollen is inflammation.
What do firemen do when there's a fire? They put water, right? Well, that's what your body does. It brings in water because the water's got all the you're okay if I start off on this.
Go.
I'm pinging now, but just a little ping deep down.
You're in.
All right. So what does a fireman do? He puts out the fire with water. What does your body do? It puts out the fire with water because the water has the nutrients, the white blood cells, everything to help fight whatever fire's going on. And you can look around. It's so easy to see the inflammation. Because you see people swollen around the belly, their faces are swollen.
Necks usually show a lot of it.
Swelling. Just look around. People's ankles, they don't have ankles. I've had a good look at people over the last 500,000 people that I've seen.
Yeah.
So those are tall tale signs of inflammation.
Yeah. And the biggest problem with inflammation is it starts small, just like any fire. I mean, you might, just think of like starting a camping fire, a fireplace or something. You just start a little smolder, you get a little something going. And eventually it just grows and grows and grows until you got this raging fire. And that's what happens with inflammation, the fire of the body, is it starts off small. We kind of ignore it, no big deal. And it gets a little more and a little more and a little more. All of a sudden could be decades. You might have started that inflammation in your 20s, and all of a sudden in your 40s and 50s, boom, you've got Alzheimer's or dementia coming on. You've got heart disease, all kinds of vascular disease, gut health problems, all these different things happening all of a sudden, where it could be months it might have developed, it could have been years, it could have been decades. But the problem is, as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, if we don't address it, now we're getting into that real problem stage where, boom, okay.
Your body can't put the fire out anymore. All your firemen inside your body are pooped, and they've exhausted all their resources.
Yeah.
And so the disease is expressed as type 2 diabetes, heart attacks, strokes, high blood pressure. Let's see, how quickly can inflammation be resolved, and what are some of the treatments for on the road? Great question.
For on the road.
On the road again.
I think what you might be meaning is traveling or something like
traveling,
that. Yeah. Well, for us, let's just say, okay, we were away for a week. And we did a lot of walking.
Well, first, how quickly can inflammation...
Well, that's how I'm going to relate this.
Oh, yeah.
How quickly can it be resolved?
Gotcha.
So we were away for a week. Just give you an personal example. We were away for a week. We did a lot of walking. We kept our walking up, but we didn't do any resistance training, which we normally do pretty much every other day at least. And we had foods that we wouldn't normally have. Now, yes, we stayed...
Like potato chips?
We stayed gluten-free, as always, because we are gluten-free, but still, we had a little more of the stuff, shall I say.
It just happens when you're having a good time.
And we got back, and so being away for a week like that, it'll probably take us about 48 hours to de-inflame.
It takes 96 for me.
96 for Isabel. It takes me about 48 to 72 to de-inflame.
Right.
And, that's after a week. Now, if it's just a day where you and I do a lot for a day, we can snap back pretty quickly within 24 hours.
Right. And on the road, what are some of the treatments we used to help us not get doubly inflamed?
Right. So on the road, the best thing you can do is do your best to stay on your healthy nutritional lifestyle of eating. Try not to get all the junk and the baddies, as you probably know out there. So don't be getting into the deep fried foods and the packaged foods and all that kind of stuff, the Franken foods as we talk about here. Do your best. Keep your hydration up the best you can.
Stay away from seed oils, which are your canola oil, your corn oil, your safflower, your sunflower, and your soybean oils. Those are any hydrogenated oils you want to stay away from.
Yeah. And also
get your sleep. Sleep is really good to help you.
Keep up your good sleep patterns. Try to get into a good sleep pattern because traveling can really mess yourself up on sleep. So you try to get into your good sleep patterns. And then, like I said, stay hydrated. And then again, anytime you can walk or move, do it. We never take escalators. That might be a biggie, but even in the airports or wherever we're going, we never use an escalator unless we're forced to. There's no steps. But, use your steps. Get your body moving. If you're at the airport and you're going to fly, don't sit down. Walk. Walk the airport. Walk the airport. Walk the airport. Keep walking as much as you can until it's boarding. Now go board and you're going to sit down. So wherever you're at, keep the body moving. Keep the body moving. Stay hydrated. Do your best to keep your eating well and
stay away from French fries.
And all that kind of stuff. And, hey, if you have a little bit, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's just if you're dumping it on in, it's going to take a lot longer to recuperate.
And then things like curcumin are good.
Yeah.
And ginger in your food.
Yeah, if you happen to do vitamins, just keep up your vitamin C, your vitamin D.
Your omegas.
So your omega-3s, that type of stuff. And if not, then eat foods that have that. And
does that answer your question, Rubio?
Hopefully that should help. All right, so we're going to get back in inflammation a little bit. And, one of the things you talked about and we were talking about, is when people now have that massive blaze of fire going on in the traditional healthcare system, that's when they would go to see you. And
they used to come and see me.
In that system.
Yeah, in that system.
And that's now when you go to the doctor and you have got this blaze going on. Now, yes, that system is good for putting a Band-Aid on that fire. They're not going to put the fire out, but they can
They don't know how to put the fire out.
They can try to dampen it down a little bit, but the fire is going to keep smoldering. That's the problem. You can dampen it, but you don't put it out. It just kind of keeps smoldering.
Right.
So what we want to do is talk about some ways now where, with the brain health, where if there is inflammation going on, fire, how we can put the fire out. Now, that's not going to happen in a day, but over time, because it's taken time to get that fire going, we can start to dampen that down and also put that fire out.
And you know what? You can do it. It doesn't take a long time. You can do it, and within a week, you start feeling better. Within a week. Can you believe that? Within a week, your body snaps back. So,
yeah,
have hope.
Yeah. Things can happen very quickly when you really get after it. So why should we care about chronic inflammation and brain health? So one of the things I want to talk about is mood disorders. So with our brain health, the inflammation can really affect everything from anxiety, depression, things like ADHD, all other types of mood disorders, where it's basically getting the brain, the neurotransmitters of the brain are struggling. Our brain is struggling to be firing correctly. Our brain systems, the different areas of the brain, I call them the rooms of the brain, the different rooms of the brain get offset. They're not working properly, and everything kind of gets out of whack. And we can also move into what's called cognitive decline. That's an area where we start to get brain fog, making poor decisions, not being able to concentrate, really just struggling in life, where we just can't handle the things that are going on in life. It starts to mess us up. And then, of course, down the track, eventually that can lead us into Alzheimer's, which of course we don't want to get there. So those are some things that can happen. Anything else you feel with?
Word loss, like you're in the middle of a sentence and you feel like, what's that word? Well, that's cognitive decline. That's your brain is on fire. Or you can't do simple calculations. That's your brain is on fire. Just very simple things that everybody says, oh, it's just old age. No, it's not. Don't believe that lie. It's your brain's on fire. And it's telling you it's on fire. So pay attention, will you please? Just saying.
Just saying.
I said it quietly.
Well, one of the things we always talk about is this whole statement, the societal statement of, you're just getting old. You got all these aches and pains and things are happening and brain fog and not thinking and forgetfulness and all this type of stuff. It's, you're just getting old. No, that's not true. We shouldn't be just breaking down like that. That means we've got fire going on in certain areas of our system. Before we move on, I just want to bring this point up.
Go for it.
Is that one of the things we need to understand, this is very, very important. So one of the things we need to understand with information is just because, let's say, I've got arthritis of the knee, that doesn't mean the inflammation, the fire that's going on is just in the knee. We could have very poor gut health. We could have leaky gut. We could have some problems going on in our gut health and our digestive health. We can have some other problems, some other fire going on in other parts of our body that's actually affecting that arthritis of the knee. Because what will happen is with inflammation and fire, it can actually show up in a weak point of our body. Maybe over the years you've had problems with the knees, or maybe over the years you've had a problem with your knee. And when that fire is going on in another area, and like I said, it could, let's just say it's gut health, that can actually show up in arthritis of the knee. So if we're taking drugs to kind of relieve the pain of the arthritis of the knee, we're not actually looking at, well, why do I have that? Because there could be other areas of the body that is having problems and they're not being addressed. So just understand, if you've got some issues in the body, the best thing to do is understand that, okay, I've got inflammation, I've got fire, but what is the cause of this? Where is this coming from? What brought this on? And that's done, well, we always say in the functional world is test, don't guess. Because you can guess, but you're better off to test and find out what's happening. Would you agree, my dear?
Yes, and sometimes you don't even have to test. You can just look upwards and see what the problem is on your knees. Now, I am going to address people with knee problems and ankle problems.
Okay.
With love in my heart. How
Of course.
many people have come to see me in the urgent care, which I still do urgent care because it's what I'm able to do right now. I'm not in a GP clinic. I do functional medicine online and I do urgent care. But how many people come in and they're obese, and they've got pain in their knees, and they've just believed the lie that it's just a pill that needs to be taken to take care of the pain. I want you to understand that inflammation that's going on in your knee right now is because there's a lot of pressure from the weight. I mean, it's just science. It's just gravity. So consider if you're suffering from knee pain, consider losing the weight. Now, I know that it's difficult to lose weight. It's a tricky business. Michael and I have been in that for a long time. We know that it's difficult, but I encourage you to go on that journey and lose the weight so you don't need to use the pills, because the pills upset your gut health. The pills upset your brain health. So just remember, there's side effects to those pills.
Yeah.
And there's something you can do upstream, and that's one of the things. Get rid of the weight. And know if doctors, I know a lot of doctors are afraid to even say that. Like, people will complain, my doctor said I needed to lose weight. Well, yeah, because we know that if you can lose the weight, you won't have the pain in your knees. And I say that with
love.
Love in my heart. Okay?
Yes.
So don't you dare be offended.
Yeah.
I am just speaking from what I have seen, and there's so much unnecessary pain that's going on out there.
And here's the thing, if you don't believe that extra weight can't cause problems in my joints and muscles, and that is, they had these packs where you can have weight on the packs. Put on a 20 or 30 or 40 kg pack and walk around with that on you, or sleep with that on you for 24 hours for a couple days, and tell me that isn't really, after a few days of that, hurting. Because really that's what's happening, is you're actually putting all that extra compression on all your joints and muscles and bones, and that adds up over time. So, I know even just carrying some weights around, one of the things we've been talking about lately, and you were talking to me about learning, is just carrying around the house a couple 15 kg weights, and just, getting that leg work by just carrying around an extra 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 kgs of weight as you walk.
For a minute, yeah.
I
haven't done that for a couple of days.
Well,
thanks for reminding me.
It was a week we haven't. But yeah.
Was that a hint?
No, I thought about it. But yeah, and it's just because it puts that pressure on, and it's great for a short-term resistance, but imagine doing that all the time and having that pressure on your body.
It's a lot of weight on your joints. And there's a little shock absorber in your joint, and it wears down, just like shock absorbers in the car, right?
Yeah.
They need to be replaced.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why people get knee
shock
replacements.
absorbers wear out in a car, right? Yeah.
And so the doctor will give you pills to help with the inflammation in between the joint. But after a while, there's no more shock absorber. So it's bone on bone, and then you need a knee replacement. And then there's complications with that. But that's totally off topic.
Now, we're just going to take a short break. But just here's a reminder, if you want to connect with us on social media, just look for us at Doctoronamission on your favorite social media channel. Yeah, you'll find us there. And also, you want to learn more about the MD and Chef Team show, Michael and Isabel. I'm the chef. You're the doctor. Go to doctoronamission.com and you can learn more about us there. All right, and so we're going to take a short little break. So this is some good friends of ours. They have some shows. They do some other fun things. And then right after that, we'll be right back.
We'll be back.
See you in about a minute. Bye for now.
Hi, Joel Maurer, founder of Dink Ninjas. Dink Ninjas was dreamed up and started right here in Austin, Texas, a dynamic pickleball community. We arm pickleballers with the paddles, apparel, and accessories to dink like a ninja. Dink Ninjas is dedicated to supporting mental health awareness and cancer research. Shop our full lineup at dinkninjas.com.
Focus up. Hey man, zoom in. Hey. Welcome. My name is Chris Rubio of the Rubio Method. Soak it in. Wear it as a nice sweatshirt, a nice yellow sweatshirt. See if it fits. And it may be something you say, okay, I'm listening to you, but I don't really like it. Not for me. What the hell are you thinking? You have no idea what you're talking about. You have issues because of your bad taste.
Hey, it's AC of AC Sports Live, an interactive sports talk show where your comments are part of the show. Every show we focus on the sports stories of today, with commentary on sports takes, my 2 cents, which is a reaction to my social media feed, Sports Flicks, where we take a look at sports movies and give a quick review. We have a segment called Mental Reps, where we have words of inspiration to help battle the dark side of men's mental health. And then there's the Tender Love Report. Who's being soft or petty in the world of sports? All takes are welcome under one condition. Say it with your chest. I'll see you there.
Hey, welcome back to the MD and Chef Team show. That was a few of our great friends that have shows of their own. You'll be served very well if you tune into their shows.
Yeah, don't be afraid of Rubio. He's just all smiles. Big
Yeah.
heart, all smiles. And AC, he's just a big bear.
Another great guy.
Yeah, good guy, great heart. We love them both.
Yep. So now there is going to be a part 2 to this show, is your brain on fire? Because today we wanted to really just start to feed into what is this inflammation thing all about? What is this fire all about? In 13 days, we'll be doing part 2 on that, and we're going to get into more specifics about, okay, what can I do to alleviate or prevent the fire in the brain, reduce that. But today we got a few other things we want to talk about, and I want to get into today's healthy lifestyle action step. So for today's healthy lifestyle action step, one of the things I want to leave you with and give you is to understand, as we talked about inflammation and fire, let's talk about warning lights. Because I relate this to our car. We all understand that there's warning lights in the car. When we're driving our car, there's warning lights. I mean, even if the petrol starts to get low, pretty much every car's got some kind of a red light or orange light or something that comes on that says, hey, you're just about out of petrol, dude, wake up. But we get all these other bells and whistles. Even if you don't put your seatbelt on, it'll all go off and start, buzzing and bells happening. So those are the warning lights of our car. And we pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Well, we should.
Yeah.
Because I guess we all understand what can happen if we don't pay attention to the warning lights of our car. We could have problems with the car down the track, and we might not be driving that car anymore because something could happen to it. We have to pay attention to the warning lights. I love the
metaphor.
So the same thing is going on with inflammation. If I'm getting random headaches, if I'm having elbow pain, knee pain, ankle pain, if I'm constantly having gut issues where I feel bloated all the time, or just some things don't feel right. I mean, you live in you 24/7. You know you better than anybody. You are, as Isabel would say, as a medical doctor, she would say to you, you are your number one doctor. That is so important to understand. You live in you 24/7. You're your number one doctor. So if warning lights are going off, don't ignore them. Get some help. Understand that something's going on. Your body is giving you a tip saying, we got a problem, we got a problem, we got a problem. And if you just keep ignoring it, there could be a very, very major problem down the track if you ignore it. So warning lights. Your healthy lifestyle action step today is pay attention to your warning lights. Feel free to reach out to us at Doctoronamission.com or whoever. Look for a functional medicine doctor. I know people can go to ifm.org, Institute of Functional Medicine, look for somebody in your area. Seek some help if something is going on right now, because it's very important. We as humans tend to just ignore it. It'll be okay. Well, we don't do that with our car, so why would we do this with our number one asset? We only get one shot at this, folks. So protect it. Warning lights. Pay attention to your warning lights.
I love that, hon. That was really good.
Thank you.
When did you get that?
Yeah, it's just something I've talked about a lot.
That's
it's
great.
Just important to understand.
Yeah, because everybody drives, or is in a car as a passenger.
Yeah. So now we're going to get into our area called, this is about relationships. How not to have relationships break up.
Yeah. We're all for keeping relationships strong.
Yes.
And sustainable. However, if you're in a bad relationship, you're in danger, get out. Don't try and work it out. Just get out.
So what do we got for today?
So
today's relationship chat?
Today is invest in your marriage. So important. We invest money and time.
Invest in your marriage.
Yeah.
Woo. I like investments, but this is a very important investment topic.
Yes, it is. I mean, we invest, let's look at it. We invest time and money in our career, in our education, in our financial future. But who's investing time in their marriage? It's something to think about. I encourage you to consider your relationship, your marriage, as an investment. And if you don't see it that way, a lot of times the relationship won't work out. And one of the leading causes of divorce is boredom.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
People just get bored with each other because they're not getting sparked up. I mean, come on, you know.
Yeah.
At first, let's face it, it's infatuation.
Yeah, I mean, it's lustful. It's infatuation. You're all.
But you can only do that for so long. You get tired after a while. I mean, your mitochondria can only make love for a certain period of time. After that, it's time to start walking together and doing life together. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we still do the wild thing, but I'm not like it was at the beginning.
Well, not, yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's just, you know, we were 20 and 22 when we met.
Right. Our hormones were hormones.
Yeah.
So partners lose focus, and so they start doing things like watching pornography, which is huge. They start straying and having affairs because they're bored, or other things. They'll start eating or getting involved in gambling, or just things. Could be alcohol.
Drugs, whatever.
Drugs. Yeah, they just pull away from that because they're bored. Oh, I got to find something else that's going to give me a good dopamine hit.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to talk about, okay, so how do you keep a strong, healthy marriage? We've had to learn this the hard way, hon. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the things that Michael and I do is, look, we've got Doctoronamission. We've got our business, Unlimited Hope, and we spend time on having that business work for us and work for the people. Well, we also treat our marriage as a business. And one of the things we do is, first thing in the morning, we always check each other's temperature. First, of course, we always give each other a hug.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's checking each other's temperature, really.
Yeah, and just saying, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
And stuff. And then the next thing is we ask each other, as you would when you go into work, or as you do when you go online and you check your business, you check, okay, we ask each other, how many spoons do you have? Because we're each allotted, and you too, 10 spoons. 10 spoons to do whatever you need to do in your day. Now, if
I may.
Oh, yeah,
so this
jump
is kind
in.
of I would say, a psychological analogy that you can use, just, you know, whatever works for you. We've just been taught 10 spoons. Okay, you got 10 spoons for the day, and how are you going to use those through the day? That's 10 spoons of mental and physical energy. And if you wake up that day and you're just not feeling that great, just acknowledge, I've only got 6 spoons today. If you've got a whole bunch of things on, then you have to decide, well, how do I use those 6 spoons?
That's right.
Because what happens is that, you know, if you have a certain amount, let's say you have 8 spoons that day, but you have so much on, and you probably exerted enough mental and physical energy for 15 spoons, well, now you're in the negative of what you really had available. And if you keep doing that day after day after day,
You get grumpy.
You get grumpy, you get anxious, you can become depressed. You can just be physically drained, and also from a relationship point of view, you get to a point where you're just not there. And, you know, so we have to be careful. And so what we're doing is, when we wake up in the morning, it's like, how many spoons you got today? And we make sure that that's what we use during the day. Now, of course, maybe you have an amazing, like, wild day where that day you go a couple extra, okay. But then the next day, be careful you don't do it again and again and again, because you can get into a state of mental exhaustion. That happens to many, many people these days. You can get into a state of physical exhaustion. And that's basically, you're not understanding how much do I have to give to myself and the world
and
that
to
day,
your marriage.
and to your marriage
right?
that day.
Yeah. Because if you don't, So 10 spoons. And so, like, for instance, the cool thing with Michael and I encourage you all to start doing this if you desire, is to, don't want to boss you around. I have been known to be bossy, but I'm working on that. So Babe will say, so how many spoons do you have? And I go, I've got 6. And he's like, okay, you need 5 for this, okay? Because I've got something at the end of the day that requires 5. And then he goes, so he questions, what are you going to use that other spoon for? And that helps me, like, get myself balanced. And also for you, because you may wake up sick. You may wake up because you had only 4 hours of sleep because you were on the toilet with the gastrointestinal flu. Who knows? But the thing is, you help each other out with your spoons, because he's my most important business partner.
Me.
Yeah. And the most important business relationship ever is a husband and wife. Because hopefully you're there for each other to encourage and help each other out. You're not supposed to be straying around to have relationships with other people. Your heart was meant for one relationship, the relationship with your wife or your husband. So don't believe what the world is telling you, that it's normal to stray and to have relationships with other people, because the other person can pick up on it and it just hurts their heart, and it's not good for the relationship. Another thing, a secret for a strong marriage, is to continue to improve yourself.
Yes.
I look at pictures of us 10 years ago, and you look so hot, babe. I'm serious. I mean, you've really taken the time, and I find you more physically...
Wait, let me just clarify. You said when you look at pictures of me 10 years ago, I looked hot. Was I looking hot 10 years ago or today?
Today.
Okay, just clarifying.
Oh, sorry. No, like 10 years ago.
10 years ago, I look hot. I was thinking, I didn't look very good 10 years ago, but holy cow, that was hot. That must be a sizzle today.
Scratch. Let's circle back. Let me say this again. When I look at pictures 10 years ago and see you now, I'm like, wow, you are so hot and handsome, and you look better and cuter and just adorable the older you get, which I'm so grateful, because
Thank you.
Like, I have to look at you every day. I'm being honest,
and
you guys.
True. Yeah, you're looking at
I
your
have to
partner
look at
every
you.
day.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah. So
thank you.
You're welcome
for doing the work on
and
improving
that's also
yourself.
taken. I know we can have pride be a bad word, where we're just proud, just where it's not good. But I'm using this in a way where it is good. Have pride in yourself. We're all who we are. We're, some people are externally more beautiful than others, but I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about taking pride in yourself. Guys, groom yourself, or have your wife groom you. Isabel helped every once a week. She gives me a little bit of groom just to help me look good.
I cut the trees out from his ears. I trim his eyelashes. His eyebrows. I shave his neck, because he can't get there. He can do his nose, and I thank you for doing that. But we got to help our other side to look.
So guys,
clean and sparked
have
up.
some pride in the way you look. Have some pride in the way you dress, and don't just dress nicely when let's say you have a job outside of work or a business, and then you come home and you look like a slob, and you're a slob around your wife. That same thing for women too. You go out, you look amazing when you got the door, and then when you're with your husband, you're looking slobbish, or like a slob.
I know.
Have pride in each other. And again, we're not always dressed up.
No.
But we make sure that, we look good for each other.
We try to.
We do our best.
On most days.
Yeah, on most days. And some, at nighttime, we're casual. We're in our pajamas, maybe catching a Netflix show or something. But, we're just not, we want to make sure that the other person isn't looking at you going like, yeah.
Yeah, like there'll be clothes that Michael wears that he's had for 10 years. And I'll go, babe, can we please throw that away? I cannot look at that anymore. And he goes, what?
And I go, know, that's the guy thing. We're the worst at that. We could try to hang on to that T-shirt, those pair of pants that are just like barely there anymore. And but I got that at the concert in 1987, And it's like, nah, you know what? I've learned if she looks at me and kind of goes, oh, hon, I hate to see you, and that looks so horrible. It's like, okay, out it goes.
Yeah, because you're so handsome.
Because at the end of the day, what's worth more, that shirt, that pair of pants, or my relationship with my wife? That relationship is number one.
Thank you. Another way to improve yourself is read, read, and share your stuff that you've learned from your books. Like, hey, did you know about this? And have you thought about this? Have we looked at this investment? Have we, just share. And that can be done at dinner. And make sure you're asking questions to the other person about their day. How was your day? What did that event mean to you? Mm-hmm. What questions can I help you with? Like, be present. Let the other person know that you're there walking alongside them.
Yes.
So I just, for those of you who believe in Father God, like Michael and I, in the Bible, in 1 Peter 4:8, it says, above all, keep loving one another with sincere, intense conviction. That means dedication to one another. How? By investing in your marriage. So I hope that helps.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thanks. I wrote that at the airport.
Anything else in the relationship chat for today?
Not for today.
Okay. Well, my dear, are you going to leave us with some inspiration today?
Yes, some encouragement.
Some encouragement?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a wonderful
I always
thing.
like to wrap it up.
We always like to leave you with a word of encouragement, inspirations to feel good, because we want to fill up your heart to know, when we get into health, a lot of times it can be heavy. We try our best to keep it as light as possible, but these are serious topics when we're talking about brains being on fire and inflammation throughout the body and all that going on. But want to leave you today with a great thought on inspiration, and beautiful Dr. Isabel has something for you today. What do you have, my dear?
Again, I'm saying this with the love in my heart, okay? When was the last time you looked in the mirror and asked yourself, am I taking good care of myself? If you haven't asked that question, I encourage you to ask that question. I highly encourage you to ask that question. We're taught, especially as women and men also, to take care of everybody else. Men to take care of the family, women to take care of the family, the jobs, the businesses. We're always out. But you know what? It's the same. We got to think of, if we're not taking care of ourselves, like in the plane, when there's no oxygen, the oxygen mask drops down. You've heard this over and over again. You don't go put the oxygen on somebody else. You put the oxygen on yourself so you can breathe and have good brain health, and you can help somebody else. So I feel that the car analogy, the metaphor of the car, has come up a lot today, and people spend more time and money on cars than they do their bodies. And cars...
True. Very true.
The problem with doing that is people get tired of their cars, or the cars get old, and they go ahead and buy another one.
Yeah, every 3 to 5 years, research shows people just get a new car, trade the old one in, get a new car.
And I encourage you to think of your body as a car, but a car that you can't get rid of. You've got to take good. Yeah, you only get one body. One body. And I encourage you to take good care of that. Michael and I always, when we're working with people, we always say, okay, you got to ask yourself, 2 questions. The food that's going past your lip, is the food going to hurt you or help you? If the food's going to hurt you, okay, look, that's your choice. You're a big boy, big girl. You can make those decisions. But just know, downstream, conventional medicine has all the drugs in the world, all the surgeries in the world to help you with the side effects of eating bad food. Because food is medicine or food is poison. I've seen it. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of asking the question, is this food going to help me or is it going to hurt me? Now, if it's going to help me, well, then that's what you learn with functional medicine. That's what you learn with integrative medicine. You learn how to prevent and reverse disease. And that's what Michael and I are here always about. I think probably until our last breath, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for those of you who are believers like Michael and I, your body is the temple of God. God lives in you. God is here for you to do your best work. And he's inside of you to help you to be an instrument of him coming through you. And it is so much easier to be a healthy temple instead of a crumpled temple. If you're a nice, tall, pointy, healthy temple, it's so much easier to fulfill your purpose here on earth because you're here for a reason. You're here to do something wonderful, not something to destroy the world, but something to help the world because this world needs help. And it can come from you if you choose to take good care of yourself and help the world in that fashion. Unfortunately, people, after me being a doctor since 1991, people have to hit the wall, unfortunately, before they wake up. And maybe that will have to be you. That was me for a couple of things with anxiety and depression. I had to wake up fast. But just know that you can wake up earlier before you hit the wall. And people wake up when they hit the wall and they've already got cancer or they're obese or type 2 diabetes or they've had a heart attack or a stroke. And that doesn't have to be you. You can actually make the decision upstream, okay? And I encourage you to not wait until the downstream. I encourage you to ask the question now and just keep on asking yourself day by day by day. This is not a one question event for the rest of your life. You've got to ask yourself all the time. Like Michael and I were asking ourselves, oh, this ice cream, I was eating some beautiful ice cream at Luther's in Melbourne. Oh my gosh, we went there twice. I got 2 scoops each time, and then I helped my daughter with her scoop. Yes, I love ice cream. But I knew when it was going into my mouth, this is going to hurt, this is going to hurt. And so now I feel like a blimp. But that's okay, because I know in 4 days I can de-blimp.
De-blimp? Oh, you're getting very medically technical.
Yeah. So I encourage you to just ask that question. And so this morning I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, Isabel, are you taking good care of yourself? And the answer was, yes, ma'am.
I'm going to get after it.
I'm back on the track.
Hey, so thank you so much for joining us today. And please know that we'll be back in 13 days with part 2 of Is Your Brain on Fire? And on that episode now, we're going to go beyond understanding of what this inflammation, fire, and about it, how it can affect the brain. Now we're going to talk about, well, what can we do to reverse or prevent fire of the brain? So please come back for that episode if you want to learn more about keeping away from having the brain health and mental health disorders being part of your life, because we don't want that to be, hopefully, for you. If you want to catch up with us on social media, you can look for us at Doctoronamission. And also, if you want to catch us on our website and come by and see, because we've got a lot of freebies on there. There's some excellent freebies that you can, there's some videos, there's some courses. I've actually got an amazing guide for children's brain health in there. If you're looking, because understanding that brain health is developed in the child in the early ages, that if you want your child to have a very healthy brain and develop that in the young ages, I've got a free guide there for parents, so you can find that at Doctoronamission.com, and then you can find out about all our courses and everything else we're doing in our online coaching, and a little bit more about us. So Doctoronamission.com or at Doctoronamission. Thank you so much for coming by today. And if you, wherever you see this video, if you please add some, if you want, please add some comments. If you have questions, put them in there. We'll look at getting back to you on that. We might incorporate that into, if you want to have questions for the upcoming show, Is Your Brain on Fire Part 2, put it in there. Give us a hashtag replay if you happen to catch us on replay. Otherwise, thank you so much for popping by today. Thank you as always. It's great to have you with us. We're here for you. And we will see you in 13 days for Is Your Brain on Fire Part 2.
Bye-bye.
Bye from us. If you're part of that 70% who haven't subscribed yet, well, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can come along with us. Give us a like. Thanks.